And you've observed some of Shannon's music.
I have.
You've observed a lot of music in your profession.
I have.
You observe a lot of music. Let's just put it that way. You're familiar with drill music, correct?
Yes.
All right. Drill music is something that extends beyond Atlanta.
It does.
It's worldwide, correct?
I know throughout the U.S. I'm not too familiar with it internationally, but yes.
Okay. Common themes of drill music, brutality and violence.
Correct.
Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Okay. Who's the baddest? Who's the toughest? Who's the most powerful?
Correct.
A lot of bragging.
Correct.
Okay. Claims about women, about who gets the most women. Is that a recurring theme?
Yes.
Bragging about the guns people own and carry.
Yes.
Okay. Bragging about how much money people have.
Yes.
Bragging about homicides, whether it's true or not.
Some.
Okay. It's a type of music, and whether you like it or not, and I'm not suggesting you like it, and I'm not suggesting I like it, but it glorifies violence.
I don't know if I would use the term glorifies, because there are a number of drill rappers that have been charged with homicide.
Okay.
Or engage in violent acts. So I don't know if it glorifies. There's two sides. It can glorify it, and it can also tell the story. So there's two different sides to it.
Okay, so one side, you know people that are in drill music that have been charged with crimes.
What I'm saying is music of that you're describing often feeds into violence.
Okay, and you don't like that, do you?
I don't like anybody getting hurt.
Okay, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You feel it feeds into violence, okay? And what I'm asking though is, when you said it glorifies, you said, I know some people who are in drill music that have been charged with crimes.
Correct.
Okay, and you also know a lot of drill music where people claim they did this and claim they did that.
Correct.
All right. And it's not always factual.
No, but being a drill artist doesn't negate the fact that you engage in violence.
Okay. You may.
It could go either way, but being a drill artist doesn't negate that fact.
That's fine. Okay. Common terms in drill music, ops.
Correct.
Stands for opposition.
Correct.
And that is a recurring theme that you almost hear in every song. Isn't that fair to say?
In every song and almost every investigation that I work, yes.
Okay. And if we, and we're not going to do it, but if we Google and get on YouTube and type in rap ops, we'll see dozens of songs with ops in the title.
Correct.
Including by well-known artists.
Correct.
All right. Glizzies. Glizzy is a term that comes up a lot in drill music, correct?
Correct.
It's a gun?
Yes, but I don't know if I've heard that used that much by these folks that we investigated with this.
I'm just talking about.
It does. Guns do come up, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's in one of Shannon's songs.
Okay.
Lizard Walk.
Okay.
Okay. And that's another term that comes up a lot in drill music.
Glizzy, blick, fi, whatever you want to call it.
Red light. It's another one that comes up a lot in drill music, correct? Red lights?
I don't hear that as often, no.
Okay. You ever hear the song Red Light by Future?
I have not.
You heard the lyrics? Yeah, and this shit real out here running through the red light, looking through your rear view and might just sneak up on the car and try to spray you. You hear that? Heard that lyric?
No, but if Mr. Wilburn would have engaged in a homicide at a red light, I probably would have looked into it.
Okay. I didn't ask anything about a homicide or Mr. Wilburn. I asked if you've heard the lyric.
But yes,
okay.
But it's something I would look at.
Okay. Chalk. Chalk you out. Chalk them up. Slime and chalk. Those are
slime and chalk I'm familiar with, yes.
all right. Those are things that you would hear in drill music, correct?
Slime and chalk I've heard. The others I don't know if I've heard.
All right. We heard 5 songs by Mr. Stillwell. Okay.
Yes.
And they were, let's see, Slat Talk, Ran This Money, Bullshit, Lizard Walk, and Red Light.
Yes.
And all those songs, you have identified Mr. Stillwell, and they were in Mr. Stillwell's phone.
Correct.
Okay, and just to be clear, there were other songs in Mr. Stillwell's phone as well.
Correct.
Okay, so we heard 5 of all the songs that Mr. Stillwell had in his phone.
Correct.
And do you know, outside of his phone, how many other songs Mr. Stillwell has made?
I know through the years I've seen him make a few, but I couldn't give you a number.
Okay. Now, with those songs, do you know when they were written?
No, and on direct, I said I can only see the date that they were added to the device.
Right, and you don't, and let's just be clear, the date that they were added to the device was 3/17. There was some sort of file transfer according to the report.
Correct.
On 3/17. You don't believe that on the morning of 3/17 he was in the studio making all those songs?
Not to say that 1 or 2 of them couldn't have been made in the days prior, but I can't give you exact dates on them.
Okay. So we don't know when they were made. Do we know when they were written?
No.
Do we know who wrote the lyrics?
We don't.
Okay, and in fact, on one of the songs, Red Light, it says featuring Vito, correct?
Correct.
Veedo.
Correct.
You know Vito to be a songwriter, not an artist, a songwriter for 300 Entertainment, correct?
He could be, yes.
Okay. Okay. Some of these songs that we heard have the typical ops, red light, glizzy, homicide, typical things that are hallmarks of drill music, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, also, in one of the songs, Mr. Stillwell makes reference to his bankroll, right?
Correct.
Okay. Bankroll is the amount of money you have.
Correct.
The wad of cash.
Correct.
All right. And he's bragging about his bankroll.
Correct.
Okay. And that's what he's saying. That's what he's releasing to the public through this song.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Stillwell, do you know him to own a car?
No.
Do you know him to own a house?
No.
Do you know him to be independently wealthy?
I mean, sometimes, yes. He has a lot of money on him.
Okay. His bankroll, is that something that artists often talk about, their bankroll and how big it is?
Sometimes, yes.
Is that always true, that the artists that are bragging about their bankroll is really as big as they're claiming it is in their songs?
That's an individual basis.
Okay. Could it be, you ever heard the term, like my son says it all the time, cap? Like, just made up. Cap.
It could be, but that's not necessarily the case with Mr. Stillwell Jackson.
I'm asking if you've ever heard the term.
Yes, I have.
Okay, and artists cap on songs all the time, don't they?
Some do, some
Okay.
don't.
And Mr. Stillwell, in his songs, was claiming that he had a bankroll.
And he did sometimes. Yes, he did sometimes.
Well, on the phones, you reviewed his phones.
Correct.
You saw him basically begging Miss Alexander to give him $1,500.
But if you listen to the March 16th wiretap call, he talks about all the money he had.
Okay.
And he didn't want to go to jail with all that money. So he had a lot of, it fluctuates from day to day. So I don't know, some days he has a bankroll, some days he has no roll, so.
Okay. Did he have a bankroll? Do you know if he had a bankroll the day he recorded that song?
Do not.
Okay. Could that have been Cap?
Could have been. He could have been reminiscing about when he had his bankroll.
Okay. In these songs, while we're talking about Cap, let's see. Mr. Stillwell referred to himself as Big Slime.
Yes.
Okay, you ever hear anyone else refer to Mr. Stillwell as Big Slime?
I'm trying to think. He's been referred to as Big Slime and Life-Size Lizard.
Right, that's what he calls himself.
He's also referred to as that. I've heard him.
Okay. So he was claiming to be Big Slime in
Correct.
the song that he wrote or performed. Okay. Then we got, let's see, Dolly White in one of the songs. Bullshit, right?
Dolly, yes.
She brags about making $201K in a day.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know? Is there any evidence that you have that on that day that Dolly White was claiming that she made $201K that day, that she actually made $201,000 that day?
I wouldn't know what day it is to be able to tell you. She could have been on Instagram or somewhere bragging about having 200K. So without knowing the day, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Do you have any evidence that Dolly White, I'm not talking about Jeffrey Williams, I'm talking about Dolly White, has ever made $201,000 in a day in her life?
I couldn't tell you what Miss Greer makes.
Could that have been Cap?
It could, but it also could not have been.
Okay. So,